Welcome back. It's 7:46. You're watching Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. We're going through today's headlines, and the headline makers today are political editor of the HuffPost, Kevin Schofield, and former editor of the Daily Star, Dawn Neeson. Very good to see you both this morning. And Dawn, we've got to start here, I think, this really shocking footage, the second video that I've seen at least, of women, would you believe, tearing down posters of missing Israeli children.
It's not the first time we've seen it, and it's happening pretty much all over the world. This footage, as you can see now, shows two very young women and a very young man in Leicester Square last night tearing down the posters of the missing people in the hostages that were taken from Israel into Gaza.
Well, smiling away he was, wasn't he?
For some reason, he seems to find it funny. The reason I wanted to talk about this one is because they are, as you've just seen there, Ellie, they are incredible. I mean, the what, 16, 17, 18, these girls, they are incredibly young women, and they're taking down posters of young women that were kidnapped from the dance festival and the kibbutzes, similar age to them. And we all know what happens to young women in war situations. And it's not nice. So how young women can be so, regardless of the politics that's going on, so inhumane to tear down these posters, I can't comprehend it. As a woman, I can't comprehend it.
But I'll tell you what, the young people particularly tend to see things in black and white. It's them and us, is it? Which, of course, is just so not the reality.
No. And they won't have children of their own either, so you know, they won't know what it must be like, have any idea what it must be like for your children to be in that situation.
When I see young people, especially women, Dawn, pulling down these posters, the second video, like I said, that we've seen, just makes you think, where is your humanity? I mean, aside from the politics, you just would see a missing person, missing baby, missing woman, doesn't matter who they are, you would think you would see the human element of all of this, which is a person who is missing, who's going through, you can imagine, an ordeal in Gaza, and instead you've got people ripping it down. It's just, it's callous, isn't it?
Well, I was just going to say, there'll never be peace until people like that start saying, looking at this and saying, that's terrible. These people being kidnapped is terrible. This is the problem, and as you say, this is so incredibly divisive, and, you know, obviously there are centuries of history gone into this particular conflict. But it is like, you're right, Stephen, you can't see how it's ever going to be solved when people are so angry that they're seeing beyond the humanity that is involved in this, on both sides. It's not even a political thing. Yeah. I just think for young women in particular, it's heartbreaking. OK, Kevin, let's have a look at this public artwork, should we? Because we all like a bit of public artwork, don't we? I rant about this stuff all the time. It's a waste of money. But this is highlighting plastic waste. We've got some pictures of it to show you. There we go. What on earth is it?
Oh, dear.
It's a pile of plastic waste, basically.
Yeah. So it's to, highlight the impact of litter and obviously why it's such a bad thing. But it's not, well, I was going to say it's not pleasant to look at, which is the whole point. Obviously, it's not supposed to be good to look at because it's meant to make people think twice about littering and the damage that we're doing to the environment. However, understandably, I think people living locally who have this artwork in their communities just think it's an eyesore. I mean, why would you even call it art? And they don't want it. Well, art is in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? It's art to one person could be ugly to someone else. But if it's saying, isn't it awful to have litter on the streets, then you put something up which is basically litter on the streets. Yeah.
And haven't people been adding to it as well?
There may be a bit of a confused message there. Well, that's the point, is that some people are saying it could actually encourage people to litter, which obviously is not the intention.
Well, I don't see how you couldn't throw a bag of crisps next to that on the floor and say, well, look, it's performance art.
Darling.
It's a fresh installation.
Oh, dear.
So it's caused a bit of a debate, shall we say.
Someone's been paid for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of work going into it, to be fair.
Is there?
Yeah, well, really? I mean, they haven't just chucked it together, you can tell.
Just empty recycling bin out in the middle and... it's
like I went to see Tracy Emin's bed.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
The bed.
Yeah.
Someone dragged me along donkeys years ago, and it's just a dirty bed.
The thing is with Tracy...
It's like, what? If I had that in my room, my mother would have killed me.
There's a story linked to that we could go into, but I'm not going to. But actually, Tracy Emin is actually a very, very good artist.
Do you think?
She is a brilliant artist. She can draw perfectly. The thing
Can
is,
she?
yeah, she can. Yeah.
There were sketches all around the outside of the bed that she'd done with a pencil, which a toddler could have done. If she can draw brilliantly, wonderful. Let's see it.
She can, and I don't know if we saw the same exhibition, but she's also very good with embroidery, and that is particularly impressive.
Well, that'd be lovely to see. I mean,
Well,
I'm
maybe
all
you
for
two
that.
should go along.
We should
have a little art day.
A culture day out.
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, that would, you know what? That would be a good TV
It
programme.
would be a good TV. You need
Send
to
a
be won
film
over,
crew
don't
with
you?
Well, it
You're
would
not
be because I'm a.
You're not helping.
I am not an arty person.
I would watch that.
No. Well, should we go from art to music? This one's caught my eye this morning. Music that makes your heart ache may ease physical pain, Kevin.
Yeah, so there's a study done which basically shown the human response or the physical response to listening to music. So what they did was they inflicted a mild pain on the people taking part. It was like a burn, like
it's a hot teacup against your arm, nothing hot. It's not. They weren't electrocuting you.
So it was painful, but not, screaming with agony. And then they play music. So they asked people what their favourite music was, and they played the music, and they asked them then to assess how much pain they felt after they'd heard the music. And the music did help distract them, or it made the pain lessen. But what they particularly found was that moving or bittersweet music, kind of sad songs, actually were the most effective painkillers.
I can relate to that, yeah.
Can you? Oh,
even if
here
you're just having a bit of a bad day, I think belting out to Adele or something a bit sad just makes you feel better. It's cathartic.
There's no time Adele makes me feel better in any way, shape or form.
Really?
I'm sorry, I know, I'm sorry. It's just not... Stop looking at me like that, Steve. You always do this, whenever... No,
Well,
it's
you
just,
do come out with some things.
It's just not my...
That's controversial.
It's not my era. Nothing
Really?
against Adele, it's just not my era.
So
she's very good.
they've got some suggestions here. There's an Ed Sheeran Perfect. Apparently, it is a good one for relieving pain.
Now who's pulling the face, Ellie, to tell us?
no, Ed wouldn't do it
Death
for me.
Cab for Cutie, not a bad band.
What?
Death Cab for Cutie, they're a
Death
band.
Cab
They're a popular
for
beat
Cutie.
combo. Well, not that popular, but they were reasonably popular. There's a Tchaikovsky piece as well that gets mentioned.
A bit Deacon Blue, how about that?
I
went to see Deacon Blue a
which
couple
was
weeks
written
ago.
by Labby Sifri, so...
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Labby Sifri I could go with. I'm not a fan of Madness. There you go.
After our culture trip, we'll have to go and see Madness
Yeah,
together.
all right, there you're on.
Definitely
You're
a
on.
programme in this one.
Right.
Packed
Thank you
calendar,
both.
you two. Kevin,
Yeah.
Dawn, thanks very much.
Let's
Thank
have a look
you.
at the weather with Alex.